Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Monday and all of our guests today sponsored by our friends at Basant Motors, and that includes Matthew Barnaby standing by. Get to Basant Motors where the spring rides are ready to roll. Right now, pay no GST or get free gas for a year.
Oh,
Put winter in the... You're excited about that, Rick. Put
huge.
winter in the rearview mirror. Learn more at Basant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. Matthew Barnaby, former NHLer, 15 NHL seasons, host of Unfiltered with Matthew Barnaby. He works for our partners. He's the ambassador for Bet99.net as we're joined now by Matthew. Thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Good. Thank you guys for having me. Yes, gas is going up in Ontario where I live, so I could use that if
Free
it's
gas.
transferable over to here.
Yeah. Oh, that never happens in BC, Matthew. What's that at now? $3 in your firstborn for a gallon.
Way too high out here, Matthew. Way too high.
Matthew, I'm looking at your Twitter account. You're not just into hockey. You're following, or you're talking about baseball and basketball and golf. Other than the sport you played professionally, what sport do you follow most closely?
It's not even close. I'm only a fan of one team, and that's the New York Jets. So NFL. I've been a fan since I've been 12 years old. Sack Exchange, Mark Gastineau, and it's off to a good start in our off season, but we still haven't landed Aaron Rodgers. But yes, by far football. Then I'd say golf and hockey is in there. Obviously hockey is the thing I know the most about, and I follow it. But this is when I really start to follow it, is the weeks leading up to Stanley Cup playoffs, because nothing's better. No sport changes more from a regular season to the postseason like NHL hockey.
Well, if you're a fan of the Jets, then you can relate to a lot of people in Vancouver who are fans of the Canucks. So good on you, Matthew. Hey, before we talk about the playoffs, 7 seasons with the Sabres. I was looking on your Hockey DB page, and your roster at one point had yourself and Rob Ray, Brad May, Bob Bugner. You don't see that type of toughness on rosters anymore. Good thing or bad thing for the league?
Well, I think it's a good thing for the players that don't have to play that style that we did to put food on the table for our families. I'd say not good for the fans because it's entertaining. And I think the one thing we've lost is the rivalries between one team and another. You know, one game, the way it ends, and looking forward to 2 weeks, those two teams playing each other again. Listen, we hated the Toronto Maple Leafs. They had Ken Baumgartner, Nip Kiprios, Ty Domi. We had a tough team. Philadelphia, when I was in Pittsburgh, the Battle of PA, when I was in New York, going against the New Jersey Devils or the New York Islanders. So I think we missed those rivalries, but it was a little archaic in the way that we played the game in the late 80s, early 90s to late 90s. Certainly, I think the game is faster and more skilled, but at some points, I think you lose interest in some of the games during the regular season, which doesn't happen in the postseason, which is nice.
Matthew, Bet99's got Boston winning the Cup at plus 290. Are you there? Are you with them?
I'm not with them. Listen, they've had a historic season, but if you're giving me those odds to get through 4 rounds and stay healthy and continue the pace you had during the regular season, no chance am I laying those odds. Those are like Tiger Woods odds when he was at his peak. Boston is incredible this year. Great power play. Guys that have been there before. Ullmark has been absolutely unbelievable. Great team defense, and what Jim Montgomery has done there is absolutely incredible. But listen, you got Toronto and Tampa. You got Carolina. You got the Rangers. That's just to get out of the East. Then if you get through the East, you have to beat the likes of either Edmonton or Colorado or Vegas that have an incredible season. So just to get through the East, I don't think I'd take those odds, let alone winning a Stanley Cup.
Matthew, all eyes for us are going to be Tampa Bay, Toronto. Is this the year the Leafs finally get out of round 1?
I think it is.
Okay.
I do. From a betting perspective, listen, Toronto has to get through it. In law of averages, you have to break through at some point. This is the best Toronto team that we've seen. Can Samsonov be that guy when it comes down to the clutch? If there's an edge for the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's in net. It's a guy that's been there before, won there before, 3-time Stanley Cup champ. So if you're going to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in a 7-game series, you're going to have to solve Vasilevsky for 4 games to win that. This is the best team we've seen out of Toronto. Law of averages say they do win, but from a betting perspective, I'm not taking that. I'm taking over 5.5 games in the series. I think it's a 6-game series, maybe a 7-game series. I'll take the minus 182 rather than just taking Toronto at minus 167.
You talk about our rivals and their rivals, even during any regular season. Devils, Rangers. Who do you like?
It's funny, when I played for the New York Rangers, listen, the 3 years I played there, we never got to the Stanley Cup playoffs. But I just remember the fans saying, we don't care if you make the playoffs, just beat the Devils. New Jersey's a good young team, a great story. I don't think anyone could have forecasted where they would be this year with the youth that they have, the Jack Hughes, even Luke Hughes coming up, scoring an OT winner the other day. This is a good young team. Edge to New York in net. I'm going to take the underdog, even though it's a small underdog. I'm going to take the New York Rangers with the additions that they made. They have the edge in goal. I like them on defense, and I think the veteran leadership will push them over the top. New York in 7 games.
Any odds on the Canucks making the playoffs next year, Matthew, by any chance?
Ooh. I say they will challenge, only because maybe I'm a little biased in this. Mm-hmm. I love Rick Tocchet. He was my assistant coach in Colorado for a short stint. I've stayed in touch with him over the years. Class guy, great coach, players coach, but demands hard work and accountability. So I'll give you plus 230 that they make it.
Did you? Sorry, Matthew. Pardon my ignorance here. A lot of people have to do that. Did you play against them?
I did. Yeah. Yes, I never fought him. I wasn't that brave.
Okay. All right. Hey, before we let you go, 14 NHL seasons, over 2,500 penalty minutes, 834 games. How do you look back at your career?
I think pride. You know, I was a 20th round pick in junior, probably never expected to make junior. So to carve out a 15-year NHL career and play against the best players in the world, I just look back in a lot of pride. Do I wish I maybe fought a little less and scored a little more? Maybe. But I don't think I'd be remembered for how I played if I did that. So no regrets at all. Everyone always says, do you regret not winning a Stanley Cup? Hell no. I tried to win it every single year that I was in there. Just sometimes you're just not on the right side of the draw. And I'm just fortunate to have played in the best league in the world for 15 years, and very fortunate to everyone that helped me get there and helped me stay there. And now I get to do this for a living. It's pretty cool.
All right, Matthew, Rick is jealous or something. How do we get Bet99 to hook us up with one of those microphones? That's pretty that's pretty fancy looking.
Man, you look good. You sound good. Well, we need one of those.
These are straight off Amazon. Bet99 they hooked me up with it. So they hooked me up with all the swag. But this is straight from Jeff. Anything you need, my wife says, Jeffrey Bezos has it. So go to Amazon and you can get it there.
Yep.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. We'll look it up. Matthew, thanks for this. We'll hope to get you back. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, cheers, guys. Have a great day. Keep up the great work.
You bet. And thanks to our friends at bet99.net.